KwaZulu-Natal, as well as in Lesotho. This has resulted in a significant drop in temperatures across the affected areas. The cold conditions are expected to persist over the coming days. The department says graders are on standby to clear snow before it accumulates to dangerous levels in efforts to prevent a repeat of the unprecedented September 2024 snowstorms when motorists were stranded for days along the roads. To help us explain what we can expect in terms of the weather in the next few days, we're now joined by our weather forecaster at the South African Weather Services, Lehlohonolo Thobela. Thobela, Lehlohonolo, le kae?
Good afternoon, Unathi. I'm well, thanks for asking. How are you? Thobela to you
Fantastic.
too.
Good to chat to you. I mean, we do all remember that awful, snowstorm of 2024
Mm.
where hundreds of cars were stuck on the N3, just to name a few of those main roads. Give us a sense then in terms of what are we seeing now with the weather system when we look at these reports of snowfall in Lesotho and parts of KZN?
I'm glad that we come and I bring good news for a change. We're expecting the snow to dissipate, especially from this evening into tomorrow. We don't have the weather warning anymore. It was mainly from for yesterday as well as the day before yesterday, where we had disruptive snow expected into today, as well as overnight, where we were expecting mountain passes to eventually get to be disrupted. That's why we had an orange level 6 and it moved to a level 5, but it was all under a significant impact of roads being cut off, as well as possibility of disruptions in navigation over the eastern parts of the Eastern Cape, to be specific, around the Drakensberg Mountains, into Berkeley East, as well as stretching into Sunny Pass and into the extreme southern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, into the Drakensberg Mountains, and leading into Lesotho. So we're expecting good news for the next coming days, as we're expecting some clearing from the snow, mainly just isolated rain and showers along the east coast of the country, which would impact the coastal areas of the Eastern Cape into KwaZulu-Natal and the adjacent interior of KwaZulu-Natal, meaning the inland cities. That's where we're going to expect still some showers into the weekend. But as we get to Saturday and Sunday, we're expecting some clearing, just cool temperatures across most parts of these regions.
I mean, it's good news that that the tide
Mm.
is turning, so to speak. But just looking ahead, are we likely to see more of this kind of extreme weather conditions, in the country, especially when we start talking about climate change that could be actually influencing some of these patterns?
To be honest with you, this is the peak season for snow, especially for the high-lying areas of the Eastern Cape into KwaZulu-Natal and the Drakensberg Mountains all the way into Lesotho. Most of the snow that we have, or most of the cases that we have of snow, are usually in July and into August. But I mean, as we see, I think it's the last kick of a dying horse as we move into August. So yes, there are still chances of some cold spells into August and a possibility of snow there and there, but we're left with just a month to leave winter. But we're still expecting much more of above normal temperatures across most parts of the country for the remainder of winter. And speaking of the seasonal forecast that's still expected to come for spring and summer, we are in the weak El Nino season, and with that, we're expecting below normal rain and above normal temperatures. So as we stretch into spring as well as into summer, we can start seeing a decrease in terms of precipitation, but more of an increase in temperatures. But still remaining in winter, there could be a chance of some cold spells there and there, especially over the high-lying areas. But we're seeing less and less of that as the winter progresses.
And very quickly, Lehlohonolo, as we wrap in 30 seconds, in the event that these cold spells become more frequent than not, what are just some of the warnings or precautions that farmers or even people in vulnerable spaces, what are some of those, tips you can provide?
The first thing is to make sure that you are part of channels like now, Channel Africa. Listen to interviews that we have, like what we're talking about with Unathi, so that you are better prepared to know on what to act. Follow the South African Weather Service social media pages as well as the website. Make sure that you go into weathersa.co.za and look at all Facebook sites, TikTok, Twitter, because we update the weather a daily basis, and we make sure that you are aware of what to do. Follow your disaster management pages so that you are better prepared in knowing on how to act, as some of the impact based warnings may need action from you. But more than anything, if it's cold, keep in a warm environment. Use all the braziers and everything you keep as a heat source in a safe way. Make sure to switch it off as you go to sleep. But if you are to drive into rainy areas, make sure that you are better prepared in knowing where to
Mm.
turn. Don't use roads that are flooded. And if we have a disruption, rainfall into flooding warning, make sure that you heed the warnings and be at the safe space.
Lehlohonolo, thank you so much for your time and that sage advice. Lehlohonolo Thobela, weather forecaster at the South African Weather
You're
Service.
welcome. Thank you.
And you've heard Lehlohonolo saying that you need to stay locked in at Channel Africa as we give you the very latest on all fronts as it relates to the news and of course any weather updates. You can also of course join us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and at Channel Africa 1 on all other platforms. It is that time of the afternoon where we have to say our goodbyes. Of course, do stay connected to Channel Africa as we bring you all the very latest in news, current affairs, sports, you name it. From us here at Africa Update, I'm Unathi Batyashe. Thank you so much for staying locked in. And of course, thank you so much to the team behind the scenes for producing this show. From us here, it's goodbye.
Africa's young innovators are leading the AI revolution.